I heard you guys talking about the issue concerning Vinicius yesterday on the show, and you're making reference to it again this morning. And as always, my views are different. I do think that the La Liga boss does have a right to protect his product, which is exactly what he was doing, stating outrightly that La Liga and its operators are racist was a bit harsh, really, coming from Vinicius, in my opinion. Yeah, people do get racially abused, and it's not just in Spain, but majorly everywhere around the European zone. And Vinicius did make a statement where he said, look, in Brazil, Spain is known to be a racist country. That was part of his speech that he put out. And when you come from a place like Brazil where, for want of a better word, you're downtrodden and you're looking to make something of your career and your person in another country where you know that these are the issues that you have to contend with, it is something that you must put in your consciousness when you're going to Spain, because you know at the back of your mind that racism does exist in this area. And I say this because I spoke to JJ Okocha. You were not here, Segun, when we talked to him, I think early last week on the show. And I asked him about racism in Germany. And what he said was, look, he left Nigeria with an intention, which was to be a successful footballer. Yeah? He knew exactly what he was going to accomplish in Germany. And yes, he was racially abused. But what he did was knuckle down and block his ears to whatever it was that people were saying about him, because you leave Africa with an intention to be a successful footballer, and you're not going to let a set of people who don't know their left from their right to derail you from your goals and your ambitions. So he closed his ears to whatever it was that he heard and just completely focused on being a footballer at the very best. Now, I was also on a platform yesterday when the same question was put forward to the likes of Emmanuel Amunike and the headmaster, Mutia Adepoju. Mm-hmm. They both played in Spain. We asked them if they were ever racially abused. And this is them saying, look, when they're on the pitch, they hear different sounds, but they're not concerned with anybody who's directing any kind of chant towards them, because they know the reason why they're on the pitch, and which is to play football and get the 3 points at stake and be the best that you can be. That these players of today, this is them saying their own words. These players of today have to learn to be a bit more strong mentally and emotionally to overcome all of these obstacles, because that's exactly what they are, obstacles. There are always going to be people who want to bring you down, but if you have a sole aim and you have an ambition and you have a directive and you have goals to attain, you just let all these things slide, water off your back, and you move on.
You put out a very logical and well-presented case, but I object to everything you've said. I'm actually, I think we just have to agree to disagree. I think, for me, racism is obscene. I think people's reactions to...
Now, I'm not saying it's a good thing, racism. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but what I'm saying, racism. So we agree that racism is obscene. So if the way you react to somebody like taking a dump on your doorstep might be different. Like, I had an argument the other day, somebody slapped somebody, and I was with a friend yesterday who was arguing that there was provocation. And I said, under no due circumstances do you slap somebody outside. Suppose you slap the person drops dead. So what I'm saying here is that people react differently to various things. So because Mutiu them could suck it up, that's a different generation, and they decide because of where they're coming from. Some people won't take it. And I if I was in Vinicius' shoes, I would not take it. I would react it. So we react to different things differently. So we accept that racism is a bad thing. We accept that those people that are presenting it are morons. But I'm saying, because at the end of the day, what the La Liga chap said is disgraceful and extremely disappointing, to the extent that even the chairman of the Spanish FA had to come out and say the guy is talking utter nonsense. So I think what the people in the Spanish authorities are trying to do are trying to sweep it onto under the carpet. And the more people are complacent and complicit in this, then it will enable and entitle racists to keep on doing what they do. After all, nobody is reacting, so we'll keep on doing it. And look at what Gabriel Paulista came out to say. Absolute rubbish. So I hear what you say. Yeah, you can. Somebody could abuse you racially and you could walk away from it. I agree. Yeah. Or you could say, you know what, I'm not going to take this. I'm going to react.
Yeah, you know, I hear. I also did hear what the FIFA president said, because he came out in support of Vinicius. And I think UEFA as well. But that's what they're supposed to do on the face of it all. Show support for a footballer. But what exactly has FIFA and UEFA done? And I think the bigger question is, what can UEFA and FIFA do to stop racism? Because there is nothing they can do, to be honest.
But to stop racism do you know, for instance, as we're in the work environment...
Okay, but outside of deducting points, yeah? Outside of that, outside of banning the football fan who racially abuses anybody.
It depends on how seriously that people want to take events.
So I'm saying that outside of these two things, points deduction and banning the fan, what else can football authorities do?
Closing the stadium, there are things that can be. It depends on how seriously the regulatory authorities take this issue. Because if we all look at it, all this be happening forever, some people deal with it better than others, then it will continue. And we do accept. Femi spoke, I'm sure since you listened to yesterday, Femi spoke about mental health issues. And the truth of the matter is, people react differently to different situations. Because you can deal with something in a certain way, you cannot expect me to deal with it the same way.
I remember having this argument, you know, when Naomi, the tennis player, Naomi Osaka, you know, first stated very clearly that she had mental problems, and everybody was on her case and stating very clearly that, look, if you can't deal with it, you know, suck it up. And I said, look, everybody deals with these things differently. A lot of people didn't agree with me at the time.
Where are you arguing? I don't understand.
No, what I'm saying is that despite, you've got to have that mental fortitude. Yes, people are going to raise, especially if my argument is based on the statement put out by Vinicius.
Yes.
Because he did say that in Brazil, we know that Spain is a racist country. So when
you're
leaving your nation to go someplace else where you know that racism is a problem, it's something that you have to learn to deal with. That's all I'm saying.
Look.
Anyway, at this point, Segun, let's introduce our guest. Maybe he's got a different opinion. Thierry Alon joins us this morning. He's the CEO of africasports.net, and he will tell his own story. Good morning, Asha. Good to have you on Sports, sir.
Good morning, Charles. Good morning, Segun. How are you?
Asha, how are you?
Pleased to meet you.
Yeah.
Excellent. Happy to be here this morning.
What's your take on the issue concerning racism in football?
So, first of all, I think the problem is much deeper because in Europe, 80 years after the Holocaust,
actually,
we see that nothing has changed.
Sorry.
So, I'm half Israeli, half French.
Okay.
Born in Israel, grew up over there, and in Africa since 2009.
Okay.
Came to Nigeria 2009. So I think the problem in Europe is much deeper. It's not a football problem. It's an educational problem. It's a cultural problem.
Yeah.
And you see racism against blacks, Jews, women, gypsies, whatever. Everywhere you go in Europe, you encounter that. And the problem is much deeper than just football. I think that's true that when I'm going to somewhere which I chose to go to, and I know that there is racism over there, I need to suck it up. Okay, I need to understand in my mental situation that I'm coming, I'll do my career, I'll do my whatever I need to do in order to get successful. All the other noises I need to eliminate from my head. But that doesn't mean that the authorities over there, the government and the La Liga management, they need to take steps in order to educate the population. And that comes from young age. That's not something that can be just waived by giving penalties or
deducting
points on things like this.
Okay, well said.